I was born in Arouca in Trinidad, near to a place called Golden Grove. One of the schools I went to was Arouca Government School. One day, at age 7, my mother died. And my father had to live in, and I fell into the hands of all kinds of different people. I had animals to look after. And I didn't know those things were abuse that I suffered. I remember eating bakery scraps. I didn't know I was poor and suffering until it became an embarrassment in terms of privilege. I went to about 6 or 7 different primary schools because I was going from one benefactor to the next. I was kind of like I'm homeless and different people trying to help look after me and my siblings, and I'm the worst at them misbehaving, and so at least in their view, I didn't see why they think I'm misbehaving. At one stage I'm minding pigs and all that kind of thing. So eventually I showed up at the doors of a junior technical school in San Fernando. So I'm there, and everybody going and pay their fees, and I have no fees. And I have to go to the principal and say that my guardian isn't getting money right away. He wouldn't get money until later. 15th of September 1952. So I used to be ashamed. Well, they say we have intel. And I did what the teacher said. All right. I just remembered what the teacher said. And I wrote that. And then I heard that I placed first in test. Now, recruiters from industry came to the school, interviewed us, and started making arrangements to bring us into industry. They said you have to write an exam. Normally, they would not have let us write an exam because we knew most of what they needed us to know. But they wanted to be fair to the people on the outside. And then I wrote the exam for industry and went to Trinidad Leaseholds Limited, placing first in their exam as well. So I went into industry as an apprentice by a certain age. And then I found it was easy to share information with people. I never concealed information from people. If I knew something, I wouldn't tell anybody. And people knew that they could come and ask me. So they sent me to the instrument department where you work in detail of thousandths of an inch and 10,000ths of an inch and that kind of thing. And I set about training the apprentice who had been sent to work with me. By this time I graduated into a full-fledged journeyman.
I met Jim at the instrument department in those days. So I've known Jim for approximately over 50 years. He was told one day that some of these guys seemed to be untrainable. And although they weren't recommended to be trained, he took them on and trained them on weekends, being told by his boss that he would not be paid for the weekend. He has to come on his own time, let his wife know that if he has to come to Texaco, it's on his own on a weekend to train people, and he didn't see that as already a problem.
I was responsible for Texaco timekeeping devices across a large spectrum of their operations in Trinidad and Tobago and up in certain parts of the Caribbean. Anything they measure in time or speed used to come to the bench where I was working. I became very skilled in that, and I became an associate member of the British Horological Institute because I loved working with the fine details and so on. Everything else didn't hold my interest.
He trained approximately 1,600 people at Texaco, including staff.
I went to work every day and met the training needs of those people. So people spread out across the country and so on. And I would move people from Valverde up on the East Coast. They'd come around through Manzanilla. They'd come to Point of View, I'd go down to Forest Reserve, they'd leave home 3 o'clock in the morning. And I would just continue to do my work and I would meet their training needs. But I like that, and I like radio. For example, the first radio I ever owned is a radio that I made. I built a radio, and I was keenly interested in that. And I went to school, learned drama and so on and so on. I was trained by the World Council of Churches and the Caribbean Congress of Churches in drama and so on. And I used that to help make audiovisual. By then it became known as media and so on. And then I started making media. On one occasion, I made a video and raised certain large sums of money on the international market. Over time, the names of the success of the companies changed and so on. It became Trintop. By then I was married and had grown children. One of my sons is a fellow named Hal Grave. That's our eldest son. He became an important person in Trinidad and Tobago with something created called Roy and Gloria. When he passed away, there was a document in his belongings job offer from one of the major companies in the media in the United States offering a position. People wouldn't think, I wouldn't call the name of the company, but a major media company, his attitude was he believed that the creator wanted him to work in the Caribbean. And then I was doing drama, but I was only known in church circles. So the other day, I came to the place, somebody said, well, will you help our children in our school? Because you are a writer, you're a good writer, you've done videos and media and that kind of thing. I used to be on Religious Unity doing drama, adapting books to television and so on. Well, the school went and got me registered with CHC as a practicing writer in the Caribbean. And children would come to me to ask me about my career in drama. To my surprise, I started getting distinctions for the SBA, and some would get distinction in drama and performance art. I knew I still had to give. And I used to be given. And then I was at the pond in front of a credit union here in Trinidad, we called TechU, and men and women used to walk up to me and regret that apprenticeships had been shut down. We started to talk about how to restore the apprenticeship system. And that discussion in Apprentices and Mentors Forum has morphed into the Jim Graves Intergeneration Achievement Association. And we get help from TechU and other institutions, people help and so on. Is to counteract male underachievement. There are thousands of men and women, mainly male, who are underperforming. People gun them down and shoot them. What they're good at is taking apart a weapon, cleaning it, doing minor repairs on it, close it back, put ammunition on it, adjust it, aim it and fire it. We busy stuffing things down in the people and we get an 85% failure rate, right here in Trinidad. But if we were to induce things from them, know what it is they want, they pursue that with a passion, using the principles that we follow. They counteract that underachievement and become peak performance in a whole range of things. They don't have to wait for a job or somebody to tell them, because this is what comes naturally to them. What Ken Robinson calls the element. It's something they do in their life, they want to do, they enjoy doing it, and the work is like they play. They get up every day and pursue it, create wealth, create anything, whatever it is they want, without violating anybody's rights. I want to pursue that, promote achievement using those principles and counteracting male underachievement. And don't forget, I tell you, you can't counteract male underachievement without the help of the boys and women, the girls and women who love these men. But
I felt obligated to be part of any organization that will want to pull out from the youth their best self, what they are able to achieve as an individual. And this organization provided that outlet where we can engage in encouraging youth to be their best self. And the thing about it is that when they are at their best, we as individuals benefit, we as a community benefit, we as a nation benefit.
That is the goal of the association. That has been my goal, that has been my practice all of my way back from when I started somewhere around 1958, 60 something there when I was married. I'm married to a wonderful woman, lovely from the inside, and she's been with me since way back in 1958. I'm 80 now, that's the job age at which Moses took on the big job, I tell people. And as long as I can roll out the bed and stand up, I'm willing to go and talk with the young people and help them to perform better. That's all I've done since I found out that I could help people to learn. I worked in the oil sector from 1954 to 1990, working in various departments and sections in the oil industry.
Mr. Graves retired at Petrotrin in charge of the medical center. So he had a wide scope of knowledge in all fields at Texaco and Petrotrin.
Jim Graves is somebody who can teach you without even being there. Just by hearing him speak.
I don't think it have a second person like him, you know. Everything in one. Oh gosh, he's a walking encyclopedia.
Because of Mr. Graves, I was more focused and I really set the path for myself so I can be an accountant, which I really wanted.
He taught me a lot. So far, for the little space of time that I know him, plenty.
That's what Mr. Graves do. He just inspired everybody. To us, he was a father, a big brother, a teacher. He helped put Pleasant Spark on the map, on the cultural map.
I get a little emotional when I study. That's the type of person he is.
he was always interested in doing things with the young people in the village.
In Pleasant Park, he's an icon. From Mr. Graves' teaching too, we had people who won scholarships through Best Village. That's what Mr. Graves did. He was also part of the group that was instrumental in forming our first council, which was then Pleasant's Welfare Council. He was also a founding member of the building of the community center.
He was radical and still trying to help people because it's a tough road. You know, it's a tough road to try and get people to move in a certain direction. There are periods in the time that I've known Jim, I would say he must have been a lonely man.
But I would say Mr. Graves' life is what success is, because he's of a venerable age and he's absolutely happy and contented and has lived a full life and influenced thousands of people's lives.
I want this to continue when I'm gone. There are people who can do. You can do anything you want if you take control of your mind and direct it to a noble purpose. They say when you know where you're going, it seems that all of nature conspires to get you there.